Okay, folks, we have to be better than this.
You are Locked On MLB, your daily MLB podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to Locked On MLB, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about all of Major League Baseball. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully. Follow us at Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter or whatever they're calling it these days, and on Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram, but the best way to get a hold of me is right here. Leave a comment on YouTube. And if you do leave a comment on any of those social media sites, make sure to put that hashtag Everyday Sully so we know that you're listening to us, so we know what we're doing. Hey, today's episode is brought to you by the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Hey, did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Lockdown to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. I want to make sure there's no question about that. I don't know what I just said, but one thing I do know is that we're going to answer the trivia question. Now, the trivia question was we had the 4 home run performance by Mr. Suarez on Saturday night. And my question was, which franchise has had 3 different players hit 4 home runs in one game? The Diamondbacks have had the last 2. The last 2 have been JD Martinez and Mr. Suarez. Well, let's see who got it right. Stephen B. Knox Phils says, my team, the Phillies. How about that? Michael Jack Schmidt, Chuck Klein, and Ed Delahanty. Michael Jack Schmidt, the greatest Philly player of all time. Chuck Klein, who is in the Hall of Fame because he was a good power hitter who played in the Baker Bowl. The Baker Bowl was a stadium where the Phillies used to play in, and the dimensions really, really favored Chuck Klein's home run total. So he took advantage of that. And Ed Delahanty, who is a great player from the 19th century and died falling into Niagara Falls. He is the only Hall of Famer to date who has died falling into Niagara Falls. I did the old Ed Delahanty tour last year where I went to Niagara Falls, and the very next day I was in Cooperstown. So I felt like I paid tribute to him right there. Hey, we're going to talk about baseball. We got a bunch of, we got to talk a little bit about the fact that the Giants are in first place. The Tarek Skubal is pitching amazing. The Orioles forgot how to play baseball, and I have a bunch of viewer questions to get to. But there's a story that really bugged me. And I realized I want to talk to you about it because you were all fans here. And I swear I'm not going to be preaching and going to a baseball game being a kumbaya prayer circle. I don't want that. No one should want that. But something happened today that really got under my skin and is worth talking. I believe is worth talking about. During the game between Cleveland and the Red Sox, which turned out to be a blowout by the Red Sox. And the Red Sox basically had their way of Cleveland. And Jarren Duran was no small part of it. All-Star Game MVP last year, Jarren Duran had a great day today. The previous day, he stole home. He had 4 hits in today's 13-3 massacre. And fans, when they're watching their team get the snot kicked out of them, can get testy. And if you're a Cleveland fan whose suffering index is through the roof, they have the longest current World Series drought, you can get that. You can get that. You go to a game on a Sunday, your team's getting the snot kicked out of them. And a fan at the Cleveland game started heckling Jarren Duran. Now, I want to make sure it's very clear. I'm going to address this very clearly. I have no issues with heckling players. None. You can heckle players and you could do it in the right way. But a fan in Cleveland did not do it the right way. And at one point, apparently started yelling at him. And there were people in the Red Sox dugout, and there were people in the camera well that could hear the guy who was sitting right up close, was hearing that he was heckling Jarren Duran about some of his mental health struggles, which he details in the current Netflix documentary about last year's Red Sox team, and the fact that Jarren Duran says openly he considered and was on the path to committing suicide. And that's what the heckle was about. I don't know the exact word, but it was along those lines. And everyone apparently from the broadcast booth said who heard it said it was over the line. Smokey, you're over the line. And Duran, who is an emotional dude, hasn't always said the right things over the time, but has showed a lot of guts to come out to talk about his mental health issues and the fact that he was wanting to take his own life. Started screaming at the guy, and there's a back and forth. The guy, thankfully, was taken out. And first of all, there's a couple of things I want to unpack here. There are things you can heckle someone about, things about their personal life, things about anything mental health. That's so. If you have to wonder why that's over the line, then don't go to the game. Then don't go to the freaking game. And I know most of the people at the game were not that guy. I know most of the people listening to the show would not be that guy. I get that. But here's the deal. The number of people who would do that is not zero. And I don't think it's one. That was a guy who was sitting up close, who was yelling loud enough that they could be heard. There were a few 10,000s of people. There were tens of thousands of people at the ball game today. And I bet you anything, it wasn't that one person who thought that mentioning the fact or getting over the fact that his mental health issues nearly cost him his life was grounds for heckling at a baseball game. This is one of the reasons why people don't come up and be honest about their mental health issues. Because there's still a stigma about them. That's something to ridicule. That people equate it with weakness when in fact admitting it is a sign of strength. There were people saying, oh, you have depression? Well, buck up. You were suicidal? Yeah, it's because you struck out the other day. It's more than that. And if you don't understand that, then heckle them about something else. We got to get rid of some of the stigma. There's all sorts of stuff going on. There's stigmas about mental health. There's stigmas about neurodivergency. There's all sorts of stuff going on there. We got to get over that, folks, people. We got to be better than that. And it's not just one person. It's a mentality. You got to be tough. What are you mental? What are you depressed? Cheer up, buck up. It's not that. And if you don't understand that, talk to someone who's going through it, like Jarren Duran, who showed tremendous guts to be able to say that publicly, unlike the coward sitting in there yelling this stuff at him. But it's not just him. And I would bet everything I own, and some things I don't, that he was drunk. And isn't it funny, whenever there's a big fight, someone ruining your game, someone running on the field to beat up the Royals coach in Chicago, whenever there's something like that going on, it's always someone who's drunk. I've been in favor of not selling beer at ball games. You used to be able to smoke and sell cigarettes at a ball game. Can't do that anymore. If you're a family wanting to go to a ball game, family of 5, and there's one drunk potentially ruining it, you may not go to another game. You may not buy those 5 tickets. You may not buy those nachos in the helmet and the foamwear number 1 finger. That's money you're losing. Yeah, I know you got a lot of beer contracts, but you know what? You got a lot of families who could show up too. And inevitably, think about every person who's ever ruined a game for you. How many of them were sober? 3? I can right now at the top of my head think of 10 times I've gone to a ball game and a drunken idiot has ruined my night. I can even tell you. One of them was in Montreal. So is it a coincidence that it's always a drunk? I'll bet you anything, every dime I have, that guy was drunk. But he was also stupid. And we got to be better than this, folks. We got to stop equating people dealing with mental issues with weakness and something for ridicule. And here's the thing I want to make absolutely clear. I think baseball can be a very constructive way to get out your hate. Yeah, constructive hate. We all have hate within us. Everybody, everyone you know. Yes, even that person you're thinking of right now has hate in their heart. I've got absolute oceans of it, and I can get it out through baseball. I can hate that team. I can hate that player. I can get my anger out on them. And it's something positive because it's inconsequential. I'm not hating a race. I'm not hating a country. I'm not hating a political party. I'm not hating a religion. I'm not hating a sexual orientation. I'm not hating a ethnicity. I'm hating someone wearing a Yankee uniform. I'm hating someone who, it makes me mad when I see them on the mound. I didn't like Jake Arrieta. Oh man, that El Duque Hernandez used to get under my skin. And I could get that venom out. And you can heckle someone left and right. If you want to get on Jarren Duran for striking out, you want to get on Aaron Judge, the best player in the American League, and you want to just remember him clank, clank, clank. When the team needed him in the World Series, the ball bounced off his glove. If you want to yell at, whatever player you want to yell at, you want to yell at Williams for letting up the home run to Pete Alonso. I was in the stands, I remember, with my mom in a game in 1987 at Fenway Park. And fans got on both Bill Buckner and Calvin Schiraldi. Now, good Red Sox fans know Bill Buckner is not the person you blame for the 86 World Series. A lot of the blame has to go to Calvin Schiraldi. The lion's share of the blame goes to John McNamara, the manager, but I digress. Fans were booing Schiraldi because he blew the lead in the ninth inning of that game in 1987, shortly after that World Series. And some people were booing Buckner, but guess what? He got the walk-off hit that night. Buckner got a lot of grief, but they were not booing him because of the person he was. By all accounts, he was a wonderful man. They weren't booing Bob Stanley because he had a sick son, and he did. They booed him because he threw a wild pitch when the World Series was on the line. Fans booed J.D. Drew when he showed up to the Red Sox because he stunk for the first year. They didn't boo him because his son was in a full body cast, but then they cheered J.D. Drew when he became a playoff and World Series hero and an all-star the next year. You can be redeemed. Boo, jeer, heckle, but know the damn line. Boo them for baseball reasons. Baseball can be a wonderful outlet for that frustration and anger, and I feel it. And there's so much hate in this world. And this is a both sides thing. This side hates them. This side hates them. This religion hates this. This political party hates. Everyone's going in that. You can get that out and be side by side. A liberal can sit next to a conservative. A socialist can sit next to a MAGA head. A Muslim can sit next to a Jew. A Protestant can sit next to a Catholic. An atheist can sit next to a Scientologist. A thumper can sit next to someone who is trans, side by side, and boo the player because they stink. But don't boo the person for who they are or what they're going through. That's the line. And let me tell you something. If you don't understand that line, if you don't understand where you shouldn't be going with this, do you know what? Stay at home. Then stay at home and watch it on your TV and do all that awful stuff in your private home. Because do you know what? You're making a bad name for us. It's not everyone. It's a small number, but it's not zero and it's not one. And that's way too many. Hey, are you looking for a snack that's both delicious, nutritious, and tough to say out loud during a live read? Crack into a good source of protein with wonderful pistachios. Wonderful pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. I'm a high protein nut, but this is higher. Each 1-ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats. They keep you fuller longer. Now, look at this is my wonderful pistachio of choice. It's right next. It's within an arm's distance of the podcast studio here. It's roasted and salted. That sounds like a cop show. Roasted and salted are cops, and they're pistachios. And look at it. They've got complete protein. They got all 9 essential amino acids. Some only have 8. Now, they pack such a great protein punch. This is my favorite. It's so easy to just grab it. If I'm on my way to work, if I'm on my way to do a podcast, some people like them in the shell. I'm not going to judge. Not for me. But you need to get snackin and get crackin and snack with a snack and backity back and get snackin, get crackin with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Wonderful Pistachios, that tongue twisting snack. All right, I'm off my soapbox. I had to say that. I had to get it out of the way. You got to be better than that. Some interesting things are going on in baseball. First of all, let's go on one thing. The Baltimore Orioles are a team that I thought were going to be very good this year. In fact, when the Yankees started having a bunch of their injuries that were catching up to them, I thought the Orioles were going to take advantage of that. I thought the Yankees were going to be good. I picked them to to make it to the playoffs. But I thought the Orioles, who were a 100-win team in 2023, took a little bit of a step back last year. But I thought some of their good prospects were going to come to the forefront and be really terrific. And they could very well do that. But man, oh man, did they look dead from the neck up against the Detroit Tigers. I mean, they got swept by the Tigers today. They didn't even show up. Now, granted, Tarek Skubal was pitching for the Detroit Tigers, and I don't know if you know this, but he's pretty good. But you know, there's nothing going on with this team. Now, this is I'm taking this from the Camden Chat SB Nation page, where it said that the Orioles entered the day hitting 178 with a 264 on base and a 244 slugging against left-handed pitching this season. And then Tarek Skubal made all those numbers go down. And there just was something about this team over this weekend that just looked ugly. They didn't look like they showed up. Now, give the Tigers credit. The Tigers, who stubbed their toe a little bit, they are, I picked them to win the division. And we're about a month away from really being able to look at, at the standings. But the Tigers have taken advantage of the recent, some of the losing streak by the, couple games lost by the Guardians. They've won their last 4 games. They swept Baltimore, and they have opened up a 2.5 game lead over the Guardians, and just right now. The Guardians look like the best team. The Tigers look like the best team in the American League. The Yankees wound up sweeping the doubleheader today from the Toronto Blue Jays, and for the Yankees, they finally got a big hit when they've had a bunch of games where they would load the bases but get like 1 run. Though they got a bunch of big hits today, including a big home run by Aaron Judge, and they made the smart decision. They took Williams out of the bullpen closer role. Do you know why? Because he's not been able to do the job. Boone gets a lot of grief, and I've given him a lot of grief, but good for him for pulling the trigger on that right away. If he can't handle it, and you have Weaver who can, put Weaver back in there. Absolutely. The way that Williams has been closing, Yankee fans are thinking, God, we might as well have kept Nestor Cortez. He did as well a job of closing against Freddie Freeman than Williams has been doing this year. The other game that was really surreal was the ending of the game. The Giants wound up, the Giants are in first place by themselves. Again, too early to really look at standings. But, the Padres have stubbed their toe a little bit. The Giants have taken advantage of it. And they had back-to-back walk-off games in games against the Texas Rangers and Bruce Bochy. And I don't know if you saw how the game ended with Ramos at the plate. And this is once again, I've been an advocate of this. Put the ball in play and something may happen. Put the ball in play and force the other team to do something. And Ramos came up, tie game in the bottom of the ninth inning, and as the leadoff hitter. And Jackson was on the mound, new pitcher for the Rangers. First pitch, he threw one pitch, and Ramos tapped it on the ground, put it in play. Things can happen if they're in play. Now, probably he would ground out. Probably someone would pick up the ball and throw it. But there's the chance of something happening. He didn't even hit it to all the way to the pitcher's mound. The Jackson, the pitcher for Texas, picked it up on the third base side of the pitcher's mound, but before it got to the pitcher's rubber. I heard someone refer to it as the pitcher's plate, the rubber. It's the rubber. What are we talking about? And Jackson picked it up and threw it wild, way past. He should never have thrown it. He wasn't going to get Ramos anyway, but he threw it way wide and it went into right field. And Ramos saw that and said, "Oh, good. I'm a leader. The ball he hit probably 7 feet was going to turn into a leadoff double, essentially." And Ramos stopped at second, but for reasons I don't understand, the first baseman for the Rangers took his sweet time getting to the ball. And Matt Williams, the third base coach, was like, "No, keep running." So Ramos was like, "Oh, if you give me third, then I'm on third." And the first baseman threw it, and way wide of the third baseman, and it rolled into left field, and in Ramos came in for a walk-off. I guess it was single and 2 errors. I don't know what it was officially ruled as. But the Giants won the game on the equivalent of a home run for a ball that didn't even make it to the pitcher's mound. Because the Giants forced the other team to make a play. By the way, this is one reason why I like bunts. I know people hate bunts. Don't bunt, don't bunt, don't bunt. F you, I love bunts. Bunts are awesome because it can create chaos. The ending of that Giants game is what I love. I want more of that. I love chaos. I love anarchy. I love any play that makes you say, "Did you see that? No. Watch what happened." Now, that usually involves an error, or usually involves someone hustling, or usually involves a bonehead play. And I love all of the above. So, yes, hitting a home run is cool. Yes, striking out a batter. Woohoo, everybody loves it. But give me anarchy. I think it was Nathan Hale who said, "Give me anarchy," or "Give me death." Or maybe he didn't. And I don't care, because that's what I love. I love me some anarchy. Hey, the NBA playoffs are here and they are heating up. Some teams are already advancing. And we're seeing the Timberwolves may send the Lakers to their demise. And we're starting to see, Mr. Edwards getting his 43 points. Did you have any money on Mr. Edwards getting his 43 points for the Timberwolves? Well, let me tell you something. FanDuel is where you need to go, and it's giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, if you join FanDuel and you place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 back in bonus bets if your bet wins. And it's so easy. Whether you're picking my favorite team, which is the Celtics, or diving into player props, you think, "Oh, I want Brunson. I can put some on Brunson getting this, or Edwards getting that." From 3-pointers to steals and assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet on your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. That's FanDuel. Let's go through some viewer questions here. I talked a lot about the disappointing crowds that we're seeing in Sacramento. I didn't want to harp on that too much. We're doing a lot of Sacramento shows, but Useless Trucker, who's an everyday Sully, says the Sacramento ticket prices are too high. I tried twice to go to the game, but I'm not going to do it for a minor league park. Yeah, that's what some people are saying. If you're going to be paying premium prices and doing it in a minor league ballpark, yeah, that's wrong. No, that's not going to happen. I forgot to put this one on. I forgot to load this one up here, but our girl Colin, who I talked to, agreed with me on. I think the whole not adding Sac to the A's name is a pretty good point. Sacramento can't get invested if we don't think it will amount to anything. Yeah, Sacramento fans are like, oh, you're not even going to let us call you. You're not even going to let us call us our home team, and you're putting together a team that'll be good in Vegas. So basically, they're in the cocoon stage here. I don't get it. I don't get it. I was talking a lot about the kind of poo-pooing the idea of tourism being a big part of either a team in Orlando or a team in Las Vegas. And I said they have to make the experience of going to a game in Vegas or Orlando or Tampa or wherever really special. William Steffi, 3434. So I'm a hockey fan as well. When you talk about teams and areas making game experience, Vegas has done a great job of that with the Golden Knights. And I have heard that. I have heard that people go there for that experience and that it's become kind of a it's become a destination place for hockey fans. And what I will give the A's, and I'm not giving the A's, Fisher's not giving us reason to have faith in him, or more importantly, trust him. But what they want to do in Las Vegas looks pretty awesome. Looks really awesome. Looks like it could be a really fun, interesting, unique experience. Not a very unique experience. Something can't be very unique, but a unique experience. And I hope they pull it off. I honestly, truly do. If they're going to land in Las Vegas, I've said this before, wherever they go, I want it to be an unparalleled success. I don't see a lot of reason to think it would be based upon how things have gone. But if they did it right for the hockey team, let's hope they do it right for the baseball team. This is another, but there's another one here that I didn't load up here, so forgive me. It's from Brad Fairchild 8197, who's a new subscriber, and he said, "I'm a middle 50s baseball fan. Has recently rediscovered love of the game. Not a fan of the pitch clock. I love the pitch clock, but what are you going to do? I want to see a team in Nashville. So do I. Titans are building a brand new stadium, and the downtown scene is awesome. If not Nashville, someone farther west in Tennessee. I say I live in central Arkansas, so I love the Cardinals and have adopted the poor Rays. I know investors are after the Rays. Any chance they move to Tennessee, or maybe the A's, or no one out west can get their act together. I've said that Nashville's a better market than Las Vegas. Absolutely, I do. I have said also, if they're building a new football stadium in Nashville, they should have built a multi-purpose stadium. If they're going to spend that amount of money, it should have been on a stadium that could act as a football and as a baseball stadium, even if it's only temporarily as both. Because having that there is the Titans can get their stadium and Nashville could get a baseball team. If they had a place to play, Nashville would have a team right now. They would have either the A's. If the Rays can't get their act together in Tampa Bay or Orlando, I can't stress this enough. I am never going to be cavalier about moving a baseball team. There should still be a team in Montreal. But if a team has to move, Nashville is the biggest no-brainer market. It has the type of fans you want that are basically ingrained in the city, been there for generations. It's got a good regional thing. You can get a hold of, the fans in Kentucky, fans in Memphis, fans in the South who aren't Braves fans. And there's money there. It's a huge city. It's a good media market. And they've shown that they will support their teams. And it's a great city. I love Nashville. I've been to Nashville. It's a fabulous city. And I think that they would absolutely eat up a baseball team with a spoon. I've been to a Nashville Sounds game in their minor league park, and it was fabulous. If they had a stadium, they would have a team. It might have been the A's. It might have been the Rays. It may still be the White Sox. These are all possibilities. Again, I do not want the White Sox to move. I cannot stress that enough. But I do know we are living in reality, and that could very well happen. But either way, I hope you're right, buddy. I hope you're right. Well, okay, we're wrapping up here, but I'm going to just throw a quick shout out to, it is April 28th when you're hearing this, and it is my brother Ted's birthday. Ted Sullivan is my brother, who has been a successful television writer and producer, has written for shows like Riverdale and Star Trek Discovery and Supergirl and Revenge, a lot of great shows. The two of us as kids, we used to watch lots of Red Sox games and read lots of comic books. And then when we went our separate ways as adults, he kept reading the comic books and didn't care about baseball. I obviously still follow baseball, don't really care about the comic books. He is the best brother I could ever ask for. We went to many, many games at Fenway Park, and we played a lot of wiffle ball in the front yard. We've been to playoff games together. And while he doesn't follow the game at all anymore, he's always been my best friend, and he's a terrific uncle for my sons, who my sons do not care about baseball either. So they hang out with my brother and they'll watch Evil Dead or Mystery Science Theater 3000. To be fair, I also love Evil Dead and Mystery Science Theater 3000. But in honor of my brother, I am going to throw out a trivia question, which may be a layup for some of you, but maybe not. Who are the only two brothers in the Hall of Fame? The only brother-brother combination in the Hall of Fame. I'll give you a hint. It's not Hank Aaron and Tommy Aaron. There's only one combination of brothers who are enshrined in Cooperstown. Put the answer right there. I'm putting that question out there in honor of my brother, Ted. Happy birthday, Ted. You know I love you. So follow us at Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter, or whatever they're calling it these days. And on Instagram, follow me. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram, or leave your comments right here in the YouTube channel. Talking about heckling and hating in a productive way. Be better. Wondering what's happening to the Orioles. Saying hit the ball and play, because who knows, you could be the Giants. And saying, hey, Nashville, you messed up that stadium. This has been Locked On MLB for April 28th, 2025. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully.